Hello to all. My name is Warren Kraft, and I'm a Counseling 515 Research and Evaluation student. Today, I'm giving you my research proposal and ideas as they relate to society. My research question is, does racial discrimination attribute to the poor mental health of minority groups who attend predominantly white institutions or colleges? My gap statement comes from a 2016 journal article that reads, Cumulative Effects of Racial Discrimination on the Mental Health of Ethnic Minorities in the United Kingdom. And this gap statement just covers, and it says, even though we are able to examine experiences across various domains of racial discrimination, the domains explored do not represent the full range of circumstances in places where racial discrimination could be experienced. So with this in my gap statement, I'm able to expand on racial discrimination in a specific domain, and the domain that I chose was the college domain. Some resources that I used were pretty much all journal articles. One of them was perceived discrimination and its association with mental health and substance use among Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in the undergraduate and graduate students. So with this article, I'm able to expand on specific minority groups and how they relate to discrimination racially, and then how it affects and associates with their mental health. Another one is a 2011 journal article that reads Discrimination and Alcohol-Related Problems Among College Students. This one is about discrimination and how their behaviors are resulting in these alcohol-related problems due to discrimination that they've experienced within that college. My next one is a research article, 2019, that reads Mental Health Outcomes of Discrimination Among College Students on a Predominantly White Campus. This one is also dealing with mental health outcomes of discriminations of these college students on another campus. And this one is a perspective study, so it's just giving different perspectives of those different college students and their experiences. The next one is a 2019 journal article that reads Profile of African American College Students, Alcohol and Use and Sexual Behaviors, and then its associations with stress, racial discrimination, and social support. So with this, it explores the African American race, which is another ethnic minority group, and it experiences those experiences with the college students and on the college campus. And the final one is a research article that reads Racism as a Determinant of Health. So racism, either negative or positive, and how it relates to each being and their mental health is a huge factor in this. The null hypothesis reads, racial discrimination has no effect on students' poor health and risk factors in college. My hypothesis is racial discrimination in the college domain negatively affects an individual's mental health and decisions. The study design that I decided to use comes from Hepner's 2016 book, Research and Program Evaluation. This between group design focuses on internal validity, so that's the variables and how they associate themselves internally. The next concept is going to be the recruitment and participation. I randomly decided to use minority ethnic group students ages 17 through 25, and these ethnic groups must be a part of either African American, Hispanic, Asian, American Indian, and then Pacific Islanders. And then they must have 2 consecutive college semesters under the belt, and this will help me to get pretty concise data with the experiences that they have. The instrument that I used was ordinal. I used ordinal data. That's what's going to be observed. My proposed instrument that I used was a hierarchical random effects linear regression model, and this includes measurements of discrimination between the characteristics of race and racial ethnicity. And it's high on validity and high on reliability. So that's a good tool to use, a good instrument to use if you are relating those variables. Finally is my proposed statistical analysis. I first, on my research proposal, decided to use a one-way ANOVA, which studies the frequency tables and having their variables tested. It compares severity of scale numbers, and I thought this was a good one to use with the severity of how people's racism affects them. Are their severity levels high? Does make their poor mental health decrease in number, or is that value high? Do they experience high values of racial discrimination? I came up with that test, but then I after going back through, I realized that the Wilkinson sign rank test is an even better test to use. And this is a test for difference between two variables, taking into account the magnitude and the direction of the difference. And this was helping to understand that the variables that are used and testing for that variable, how does that help or associate with the magnitude of or severity of the racial discrimination, and then how does that link into poor mental health of the student or the person who is experiencing that. Those are my six different topics that I covered. Hopefully this helps you understand my concept better in my research proposal, and it's been a joy being in this class, and hope everything goes well in the future, and I hope this proposed idea does receive credit and does expand. Thank you.